Good day, BSN students. Welcome to our microbiology and parasitology lecture. So today, we will explore the fascinating world of cestodes, commonly known as tapeworms. And also, we are going to learn about their unique characteristics, their life cycles, mode of transmission, and their impact on human health. So this discussion will be the chapter 16, namely cestodes. Okay? So for its learning objectives, at the end of this chapter, the student should be able to describe the general characteristics of the medically important cestodes and characterize and differentiate the different cestodes as to their first, its general features, second, source of infection, third, mode of transmission, fourth, clinical manifestation, fifth, treatment, and also the prevention and control of infection. So let's start with the general properties of cestodes. Okay, so for its classification, cestodes belong to the belong to the kingdom, subkingdom Metazoa, phylum under phylum Platyhelminths or yung mga flatworms po natin. Okay? These are flatworms. Kapag mga Platyhelminths, flatworms po sila yan. Okay? And they are classified under the class Cestoda, which includes parasitic flatworms, commonly known as tapeworms. And most cestodes are intestinal parasites of humans and animals and require one or more hosts to complete their life cycle. Ulitin lang po natin na kapag pong mga cestodes, kailangan po nila nagre-require po sila ng one or more hosts to complete their life cycle. Kapag i-compare po natin sa ibang parasite, di ba? Hindi naman kailangan ng one or more hosts. And for its body structure, cestodes are dorso-ventrally flattened. So, kasi nga flat po sila, platyhelminths po sila. Ribbon-like worms. Nakikita nyo naman dyan, parang ribbon-like worms. And then, it can range from a few millimeters to several millimeters. From few to several. Ayan. Okay? In terms of their length, from few to several meters in length. So their body is divided into three main parts. Meron pa tayong tinatawag na scolex. I-discuss naman yan mamaya. May separate po discussion dyan. Scolex. And also yung ating neck. And then strobila. Ayan. For its scolex, yan po yung head po nila. So makikita nyo meron po siyang head. Ito po yung scolex nila. So that is their head or scolex. It is the attachment organ equipped with suckers, hooks, or both. So doon po naka-attach yung suckers nila, yung hooks nila, or pwedeng both. And then for its neck, that's the region of growth where new body segments are produced. Or dyan po, kumbaga dyan po yung reason kung bakit humahaba po yung mga platyhelminths. And then for its strobila, that's the chain of segments called proglottis. I-discuss naman ito mamaya. Proglottids. Ayan. Proglottids which contain reproductive organs of cestodes. Okay po. Next po tayo. So for its digestive system, so these cestodes do not possess a digestive system nor a nervous system. So absence po ng there is an absence of digestive system. So cestodes lack of digestive tract including a mouth, stomach, and intestine. And then since they live within the host intestine where nutrients are already digested, these cestodes now can obtain nourishment directly from the host. So kinukuha po nila yung nutrients directly na po dun sa sa intestine po ng tao. So, wala po silang mouth, ulitin lang po natin, wala po silang stomach, wala po silang intestine. And also, the nutrients are absorbed through their outer covering called tegument. Tegument. Ito po yung outer covering po ng mga cestodes. Ulitin lang ko lang po, the nutrients are absorbed through their outer covering called tegument. And also, the absence of nervous system nandyan. So, cestodes have no well-developed nervous system. Instead, ang ginagawa po nila, or they possess a simple network of nerve fibers that helps coordinate basic functions such as yung movement and attachment. So, syempre kapag walang basic coordinates, di ba, or yung mga coordinate, walang nagko-coordinate ng basic functions, syempre hindi naman makagagalaw yan, hindi sila makapag mag-absorb ng mga nutrients, di ba? Hindi sila mabubuhay kung wala yung mga basic functions na yon, like ng attachment and movement. And then, let's talk about teguments. Itong teguments na to, sila po yung specialized outer covering na nagsaserve po ng multiple functions. Example ng mga functions, nasabi ko kanina, absorption, tama? Absorption of nutrients from the host. Ano pa? Elimination of metabolic waste product. Ano pa? Protection from digestive enzymes and immune responses. And lastly, yung kanilang reproductive capacity. Paano nga ba sila nagre-reproduce? Okay? So, reproductive capacity. So, itong mga cestodes na to are hermaphroditic. Sulat ko po dito, hermaphroditic. Bilang palitan ko lang yung pen ko. Hermaphroditic. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan, kapag mga cestodes na yan ay hermaphroditic, it means each mature segments contain both male and female reproductive organs. So, dalawa po yung presence po kay cestodes. Meron siyang male and female reproductive organs. So, ang ginagawa po nila, they produce a large number of eggs para mag-increase po yung chance nila of transmission and survival. Ulitin ko lang po, nag-produce po sila ng large number of eggs para po makapag-produce, makapag-increase yung chances nila to attach and for survival. And then next, yan, the general properties of cestodes pa rin. So the parasites are flat or tapeworm. So they are flat. For its first general properties, sila po ay flat segmented body structure. Okay, flat segmented body structures. Ayan, flat segmented body structures. So cestodes, commonly known as tapeworms, are long ribbon-like and dorsoventrally flattened parasites. And then we have here sabi ko na kanina, we have the neck, the scolex, the neck, and the proglottis. Okay, the scolex is the head or the attachment organ. Meron din naman po siyang neck. Yung neck po is the growth region where new segments are continually formed, and the strobila, ito po yung strobila, consists of numerous segments called proglottis. So itong mga to, ito, proglottids po ang tawag dito. Proglottids. Ayan. O yung buong yan, ang tawag po dyan ay strobila. Okay po? So for the scolex or head, or the organ for attachment, meron po tayong tinatawag dyan na it consists of hooks, suckers, and sucking groups. For the suckers, ito yung cup shape. Cup shape po yan, dito po yung part. Cup shape structures used for attachment. And then for the hooks naman, yan po yung sharp projection that anchor the worm to intestinal tissue. And then for sucking groups or yung botria, ito natin tawag po, itong yan, botria. Ayan, botria po, they are the elongated groups that helps the worm adhere to intestinal mucosa. For example po natin, for the Taenia soleum. For Taenia soleum, they possess both suckers and hook. So both suckers and hook. For Tinea saginata, nagpo-possess naman po sila ng suckers pero walang hook. Okay, suckers but no hook. And then, we also have here the, nasabi ko na to sa inyo kanina, before, yung mga pangalan na to, Tisolium, Tinea saginata, Diphyllobotrium latum, di ba? The D latum, Diphyllobotrium latum. Ito naman po ay nagpo-possess ng sucking grooves. They possess sucking grooves instead of suckers. Ayan. So tatandaan niyo po yan, ayan pa yung example po ng scolex or yung head. Ayan. So next we also have here the rostellum. Ayan, rostellum. So the rostellum, some cestodes have specialized muscular knob-like projection on the scolex called the rostellum. Okay, knob-like. So the rostellum may be armed or unarmed. Yung armed na rostellum ay bearing one or more rows of hooks. So meron po siyang one or more hooks. Kapag naman po unarmed, wala po siyang hooks. Ulitin ko po, kapag armed, they bears one or more hook. Kapag naman po unarmed, lacking of hooks. So no hook. Ayan. Gets po? So for the examples of our rostellum, yung ating Tinea solium, meron po siyang armed rostellum with hooks. Okay po? Meron po siyang armed na rostellum, tapos with hooks. And then for Tinea saginata naman, wala silang rostellum, no rostellum and hooks. Rostellum and hooks. Okay, wala po silang rostellum, wala rin po silang hooks. Gets po ba? Okay, next po tayo. So ito po yon, yung rostellum, meron din po siyang hooks. Itong mga hooks, ito yung parang buhok niya. Yan. Ito naman po yung rostellum. Yan. Dun sa butas niya yan yung rostellum niya. So we have the scolex, yung mismong head na yan. Tapos suckers. Ayan, suckers. And then the neck, kung saan nagkakaroon ng yung paghaba ng mga cestodes na yan. Ano pa? Immature proglottid. Proglottid to kasi baka siguro dahil immature siya, kaka-create po lang po ng body region na to. So kaka-create niya lang. Ayan, ito po yung proglottid. Ang buong pangalan po ng na to ay, anong tawag na ulit? Dun sa buong body niya na yan, that's the strobila. Okay po? Strobila. Ayan, strobila. Ay, single L pala, single L. Okay po? And then, ayan, gravid proglottid and the mature proglottid. So next, for the general properties of cestodes pa rin, the body is divided into multiple segments, hence the name tapeworm called proglottids. A series of proglottid is called strobila. Ito na yung body nila. Okay? Nasabi ko naman na all cestodes are hermaphroditic, meaning self-fertilizing. Meron po siyang presence of male and female reproductive organs. Next, each proglottid therefore is capable of laying eggs, pregnant proglottid or gravid proglottid. So, nagse-self-fertilization po sila. The neck serves as the region of growth and connects the head to the body of the worm. And the worm grows by adding new proglottids. Ayan yung mga ganun parang mga segment. And then from the neck, the oldest proglottids are found at the most distal part of the body of the parasite. Okay? So next, the typical the typical life cycle of the cestodes. So for a typical cestode life cycle is divided into 3 stages. We have the egg stage, we have the larva stage, and the adult worm. So for the life cycle of cestodes, unahin po natin yung kanyang egg stage. So for egg stage, the life cycle begins with gravid proglottids. So mag-start po yan ng gravid proglottids or eggs. They are then released from the adult tapeworm and pass into the environment through the feces of the definitive host. And then, these eggs now contain a developing embryo known as oncospheres. So, yung mga eggs na yan, merong presence po ng embryo na tinatawag po natin na oncosphere. And the egg is protected by thick shell, allowing it to survive environmental conditions until ingested in the suitable host. And then, ang second po natin, first step po yun, yung egg stage. And then second step po ng ating life cycle is that yung oncosphere. That oncosphere now is the first larval stage or the first larval or motile stage po ng cestodes. So itong oncosphere na to, it is characterized by 6 tiny hooks. 6 tiny hooks or tinatawag po yan na hooklets, which is why it is sometimes referred to as hexacant embryo. Okay, tinatawag din po siya, meron po siyang 6 tiny hooks or hooklets, or tinatawag din po siya, or it is often referred as hexacant embryo, meaning 6 and acant meaning hooks. So hexa means 6 and acant means meaning hooks. So 6 po yung hooks niya. So once the egg is ingested by an intermediate host, ang mangyayari ngayon dyan, the digestive enzyme breaks down the eggshell and release the oncosphere. So ulitin ko lang po, once po na yung egg is ingested by an intermediate host, the digestive enzymes now breaks down the eggshell and then it releases the oncosphere. After that second life cycle niya, ito papasok na po doon yung penetration of the intestinal wall. So since meron na po tayong na-release na oncosphere, magpe-penetrate po yan sa intestinal wall. So using its hooklets, ayan, mga hooklets yung 6 tiny hooks, the oncosphere now actively penetrates the intestinal wall of the intermediate host. After crossing the intestinal hooks, after crossing the intestinal mucosa, pwede na pong mag-enter yung mga oncosphere na yan, pwedeng mag-enter yan sa bloodstream, pwede rin po mag-enter sa lymphatic system. Okay, lymphatic system. Ayan. And then, through circulation, magmamigrate po yung mga oncosphere na yan or mga cestodes na yan to various tissues such as yung sa muscle, pwede rin po sa liver, pwede rin po sa lungs, or other organs depending on the species. And then for its step 4, yung development into larval stage. Yan na po yung pangalawang stage po natin, the larval stage. Okay, so yung itong development into larval stage, since yung the tissues now of the intermediate host, the oncosphere develops into specialized larval stage. Di ba nakapunta na siya sa mga tissues, kumbaga tissues ng lungs, tissues ng liver, tissues ng muscles. So mag-aano na po sila, made-develop na po sila into larval stage. So example po natin, yung ating sa ating Taenium solium and Taenium saginata. Ang example po natin dyan ay yung Cysticercus. Cysticercus. And then, kapag naman yung ating Echinococcus, nasabay ko yan sa inyo, di ba? The Echinococcus granulosus. granulosus. Ito naman ay hydatid cyst. Hydatid cyst. And then, for Diphyllobothrium latum, ito naman ay Plerocercoid larva. Plerocercoid larva. So, ito po yung mga example kapag nasa larval stage na po. So, ang larval stage po ng Taenium solium, the Cysticercus, Taenium solium and Taenium saginata, Cysticercus. Kapag naman Echinococcus granulosus, hydatid cyst. And kapag naman Diphyllobothrium latum, that's the Plerocercoid larva. Okay? So, itong mga larva na to ngayon, remains infective until it consumes by the definitive host. After ng larval stage, doon na po papasok yung adult stage niya or adult worm. So, when the definitive host, di ba itong mga nandito sa step 4 natin, hinihintay lang silang ma-ingest ng definitive host, tama? So, ngayon, kapag pagdating ng 5, yun na yung adult worm stage. Yung mga definitive host na yan, mai-ingest nila yung infected tissue containing the larval stage. Then, the larva now is released in the intestine. So, the larva now attached to the intestinal wall using its scolex, yung kanyang head, and develops into adult tapeworm. So, the adult tapeworm produces proglottids and eggs, completing the life cycle. Okay po? I hope na i-repeat nyo na lang. Okay, ayan, the eggs are secreted. The eggs are excreted in the feces of infected host and transmitted to the intermediate host. Palitan ko nga itong... Okay? So, ito po yung transmission and development of cestodes. So, first, yung release of eggs, or yung eggs are excreted in the environment. So, adult tapeworms residing in the intestines of the definitive host, usually mga humans or animals, produces numerous eggs. So, madami po sila i-produce yan na eggs. And then, these eggs now are contained within gravid proglottids, the terminal segments of the worm filled with fertilized eggs. So, yung gravid proglottids na yan, sila po yung nagko-contain po ng fertilized egg. Okay po? So, diyan po yung sa release in the eggs in the environment. And then, itong gravid proglottids na to ngayon can either detach from the worm or ruptured within the intestine. Ulitin ko lang po, itong gravid proglottids na to ngayon, pwede po silang mag-detach from the worm or it can rupture within the intestine para ma-release po nila yung mga fertilized eggs. After ma-release yung eggs, these eggs now are then secreted in the feces and contaminate the external environment. Okay? External environment including yung soil, including the water, including the vegetation. And then after that one, that's the infection now in humans or the intermediate host. So suitable intermediate hosts such as cattle, pigs, or fish ingest the eggs while feeding or living in contaminated environment. So once inside the intermediate host, the eggs now will hatch and release the oncosphere. So i-release ulit po nila yung oncosphere, yun po yung larval stage po nila. So the oncosphere, gagamitin niya yung hooklets niya. Tama? Gagamitin niya yung hooklets niya para ma-penetrate yung intestinal wall and may enter sa blood, pwede rin sa lymphatic system. Kapag meron na sila, pwede na sila mag-migrate sa tissue. Diba? Pwede mag-migrate sa tissue, sa muscles, or sa intestinal organs, kasi doon na magde-develop yung larval form po nila. Okay? After ingestion, the ingested larvae are transformed into adult forms in the intestines of the infective host. So doon na po nakukuha natin yung cyst po na yan or parasite na yan, especially sa mga undercook na undercook or raw flesh of the intermediate host. So itong mga undercooked beef like since nasa larval stage na sila, diba? Kumbaga undercooked beef containing cysticerci o yung ating Cysticercus rather, by Taenia saginata and Taenia solium. Kapag Taenia solium, undercooked pork. Kapag saginata naman, undercooked beef. So pero parehas sila ng pangalan ng larval stage po nila. And then kapag raw or inadequate cook of fish naman containing Plerocercoid larvae, yun po yung Diphyllobothrium latum. Ayan po ha. So ma-ingest po yon, magiging matatransform po sila into adult worms or mga adult stage na po nila. So since then, itong itong adult worm then undergoes self-impregnation kasi nga they contains both female and male reproductive organs. So ang tawag po doon ulit ay hermaphroditic. And then with the gravid segments rupturing to release the eggs in the intestines, and these eggs are then passed out to the external environment during defecation or yung during pagtae na. Okay, ito po yung mga po natin, examples po ng mga intestinal cestodes po natin. Ayan, intestinals. Papangit nila, no? Ayan. Para lang aware kayo. Okay, first po natin we have the Taenia saginata. Ito po yung beef tapeworm. So for important properties and life cycle of beef tapeworm, Taenia saginata, commonly known as beef tapeworm, is a cestode that infects humans through the consumption of, syempre, beef po yun. Okay, beef. Consumption of contaminated beef, and humans are the definitive host. Tatandaan nyo po, humans po ang definitive host. Which cattle serve as the intermediate host. Cattle, intermediate. Tapos ito, def. Ayan, definitive host. So, for its life cycle, sa the infections of the cattle, ayan, the intermediate host is the cattle where the eggs enters the blood vessels within the cattle's intestine. So, for its life cycle, syempre, yung kanyang infection of the cattle muna. Infection of cattle. So, the life cycle begins with the cattle ingest food, grass, or water contaminated with Taenia saginata eggs from human feces. So, inside the cattle's intestine, meron yung mga eggs na yan, mag-hatch sila and magre-release sila ng oncosphere o yun po yung embryo na present po kay parasite. Okay po, magre-release po sila ng oncosphere or yung embryo present on that parasite, and then this oncosphere now will penetrate the intestinal wall and may enter the bloodstream. Ayun pa ulit-ulit tayo, di ba? Nasabi ko na ulit yan kanina. Through the blood circulation ulit, it can now travel through tissues, yung kumbaga sa tissue, sa muscles, pwede rin po sa lungs, pwede rin po sa liver. And then after that one, development of the larval stage. Ayan. So in the muscles, the parasite now develops into larval stage form called the cysticercus or cysticerci. Okay? Kapag kasing cysticercus, yun yung singular, syempre. Kapag naman cysticerci or cerci, yun naman po yung plural. Okay, since ang pinag-usapan po natin ay Taenia saginata, so syempre parehas po sila ng larval stage po ni Taenia solium. So ang larval stage po nila ay, or larval form nila ay cysticercus. This now cysticercus is the infective stage of human. Ulitin ko lang po, ang infective stage po ng humans is the cysticercus. And then it appears now, ayan, cysticerci. Yan po yung larvae or plural po ng cysticercus. And then now it appears as a small fluid filled cyst containing an immature tapeworm. So tapos na po tayo sa development of the larval stage. Ngayon punta na po tayo sa infections of humans. Paano nga ba na-infect ang humans? Infections of humans. So yung humans now become infected by eating raw or undercooked beef containing viable sister cerci. Ayan. And then this is commonly occurs when beef is not cooked thoroughly enough to kill the larvae. So, kailangan lutuin pa rin ng mabuti. Ayan. So, infections of humans na to. Yung infections with the beef tapeworm is acquired by ingestion of improperly cooked or raw beef containing the infective larva, the Cysticercus. So, yung birth 3 po yun. And then, number 4 po natin, that's the development to adult form. So, adult form to. Paulit-ulit lang tayo, di ba? So, sa adult form, di ba, yung ating after the ingestion, the Cysticercus is released in the small intestine. Na-release po siya sa small intestine, and then the scolex now attaches to the intestinal wall. Yung mga head nila na mayroon pong suckers and hooks may attach to the intestinal wall using its 4 suckers. Ilan po? Yung suckers po ng ating Taenia saginata, meron po siyang 4 suckers. Ayan, 4 suckers. So the worm grows rapidly and matures in an adult worms or adult tapeworms within about 3 months. So the adult worm can grow very long, reaching up to 10 or more meters in length. Okay, 10 or more meters in length. And then, for the production of egg, that's the number 5 na, production of eggs. Mature proglottids now produces thousands of eggs. And then, gravid proglottids detach and pass out through the feces. And then, the eggs now are contaminated the environment and may be ingested by cattle, yung cattle or yung cattle ulit, para mag-continue po yung cycle. So, ang babalik po yun sa number 1, kasi nakalat na po yung eggs, na-contaminate na po sa environment, pwede po yun ma-ingest ulit po ng mga cattle, pwedeng mag-continue po yung cycle. Number 1 po natin na infection of the cattle. Ayan, infection of cattle or cattle. Bahala kayo dyan kung paano nyo i-pronounce yan. Okay? Bali, 5 po yun. Yung life cycle nila, infection of the cattle, development of the larval stage, infection of the humans, and then adult form, production of eggs, and then babalik po sa number 1 kasi process po yan or cycle po yan, infection of the cattle. And then for the important characteristics of our Taenia saginata, they are their definitive host is the, ano po yung definitive host nila? Definitive host ay humans. Okay po? Kapag intermediate host, tatanan nyo to intermediate host, cattle. Kapag naman po infective stage to humans, ano yon? Infective stage to humans. Stage to humans. Yun po yung Cysticercus in beef. Cysticercus in beef. Okay po? And then diagnostic stage, anong kanyang diagnostic stage? Lagay ko na lang dito Diagnostic stage. Bahala na kayo stage. Ang kanyang diagnostic stage ay eggs or gravid proglottids. Eggs or gravid proglottids in human feces. Ayan, sinusulat ko na para hindi nyo i-jot down. And then for its habitat, saan po yung habitat nila? Nasa small intestine. And then ano pa po? Ano yung kanilang size or kanilang length? Ang kanilang length ay 10 or more meters. Ayan, sinusulat ko na. And then, for the common source, syempre, undercooked or raw cooked beef. Or hindi masyadong naluto na beef. Ganun po. Okay, yun po yung kanilang source. Undercooked or raw beef. So both species now may be differentiated by their appearance of the scoliosis and the structure of their proglottids. So yan po yung mga characteristics po ng ating Taenia saginata. Gets po? Okay, ito po. The scolex of Taenia soleum contains a rostellum while Taenia saginata does not. Nasabi ko na yun kanina. And then Taenia saginata proglottid is rectangular and contains uterine branches about 15 to 30 in comparison with Taenia soleum, which is square in appearance and containing about 7 to 15 uterine branches. Kung makikita nyo po dyan sa ating ang definitive host ay man, ang kanyang intermediate host ay cattle. Tatandaan nyo po yan ha. Okay, so i-differentiate po natin ang ating Taenia soleum and Taenia saginata. Para i-table po natin para maintindihan natin ng mabuti. So for its feature, common name, masyadong malaki Common name po nila, for Taenia saginata, lagay ko na lang dito. Taenia saginata. And then Taenia soleum. Ayan. For its common name, beef tapeworm po ang Taenia saginata. Kasi i-ano lang natin, ay table lang natin dito kasi yan lang din naman yung sinasabi dito sa PowerPoint. So lagay sa slide rather. So ito naman Taenia soleum pork tapeworm. And then for intermediate host sa Taenia saginata, cattle po. And then dito naman ay pig. And then for scolex, yung head, ilan pong suckers ang meron, ilan po yung presence po sa scolex ng Taenia saginata? Meron po siyang 4 suckers, tama? Tapos, meron din po siyang, wala po siyang hook. No hooks, unarmed. And then for Taenia soleum, meron po siyang 4 suckers with hooks na armed. Ayan. And then for the rostellum, kay Taenia saginata, absent. Wala siyang rostellum. And then for Taenia soleum, present. Nandyan po yan. Sinabi lang po dyan. Tinable lang natin. Okay po? Okay po, yung rostellum present kay Taenia soleum, pero kay Taenia saginata wala. And then for source of infection, syempre dito is raw, ganun lang, raw beef. Dito naman, raw pork. Ayan. Pwede lang mag-zoom. Ayan. Okay po? So next po natin, for its epidemiology and pathogenesis. So Taenia saginata and infection is common in areas of the world where beef is routinely eaten, especially undercooked beef. Yung mga nagsasangyup dyan ha, baka kumakain kayo mga undercooked beef. So for the disease, nakikita po yan, they remain endemic in several parts of the world, including sa Eastern Europe, Eastern Africa, Russia, Eastern Europe, Latin America. Okay po? So yung poor meat inspection, inadequate cooking practices, hindi masyadong luto, poor sanitation, hindi po siya nahugasan na mabuti, pwede pong magko-contribute yon sa pag-transmit po ng parasite. And for its pathogenesis, discuss ko na yan, yung pathogenesis niya kanina, kung paano po siya paano po na-perform ang disease. Okay po, alam niyo na po yon, na-discuss ko na po, ulit-ulit lang. Okay, for the disease cause of Taenia saginata, we have that Taeniasis. So majority of patients are asymptomatic. It means kapag asymptomatic, they show no obvious signs or symptoms. And many cases are discovered only kapag yung proglottids na yan are seen in the stool or underwear. Ulitin ko lang po na kapag asymptomatic, most infected individuals are asymptomatic, meaning they show no signs or symptoms. And many cases are discovered also only when proglottids or yung eggs are seen in the stool or underwear. Okay? So there are symptoms in heavy infections. These are the symptoms in heavy infections. So when the worm burden is very high, syempre yung patient may experience, okay, syempre the patient will experience the patient may experience abdominal pain or discomfort due to irritation of the intestinal tract. Ano pa? Diarrhea or changes in bowel habits. Frequent kang bumabalik sa CR. Ano pa? Anorexia or the loss of appetite. Okay? And then weight loss resulting from reduced food intake and nutrient competition. Kasi nga, kinukuha po yan ng mga tinea sa ginata po natin. Yung dapat na nutrients para sa'yo, ina-absorb po yun ni tinea sa ginata. And then, body malaise or weakness. Weakness po yan kapag malaise, weakness. Causing the patient to feel tired and generally unwell. And meron din tayong pruritus ani or the anal itching. So yung gravid proglottids are motile and may actively migrate yung ating pwede na i-migrate yung puwet, yung anal mo. Okay po? And these segments releases eggs around the anal area. So doon po nagkakaroon ng irritation and itching. So yung condition na yan ay tinatawag po natin na pruritus ani. Yung patients may report crawling sensation or notice moving segments in their stool, underwear, or around the anal region. So ang pangit naman, di ba? Pag na-experience mo ganyan, parang may gumagalaw sa pet mo, or kapag tatay ka na, may gumagalaw sa pet mo, ay yaks, kadiri, di ba? And for its laboratory diagnosis, examination of fecal specimen from infected patient is the procedure of choice. So eggs or gravid proglottids may be recovered from the stool, although eggs are less often found than the proglottids. And then for its treatment, the drug of choice against the adult worm is praziquantel. And for the prevention and control, proper waste disposal and sanitation practices as well as adequate cooking of beef. O yung mga mahilig po sa sa pagkain po ng samgyup, dapat luto po yan, are the main preventive measures of tineiasis. Freezing of beef meat for approximately 10 days may kill the encysted larvae, and prompt treatment of infected persons help prevent the spread of this disease. Okay po? So yun po yung ating tinea sa ginata. So ngayon pag-usapan naman po natin ang ating Tinea solium. So for Tinea solium or the pork tapeworm, its important properties and life cycle. So infection with pork tapeworm is acquired through the ingestion of improperly cooked or raw pork meat which is contained infected larva called the Cysticercus cellulase. Okay po? Cysticercus cellulase. Or pwede naman po na Cysticercus na lang po. Okay, parehas lang po yung kanilang, yung life cycle nila. Parehas lang naman sila. Ang pagkaiba lang, yung pagkain po ng food. Dito kasi pork, kanina beef. Okay? So for the source of infection, we have here the ingestion of undercooked pork. Ayan, yung pagkain po ng raw or undercooked pork containing the larval stage called the Cysticercus cellulose pala. Okay? The Cysticercus is the infective larval stage. Yun pala yun. Okay, mali ako. Kapag infective larval stage, Cysticercus. Kapag naman po larval stage lang, yun po yung Cysticercus cellulase. sige, i-ano na lang natin, magkaparehas lang naman sila. Infective yung isa, tapos larval yung isa. Larval stage. Pero kapag, just in case na lumabas sa quiz nyo, pwede lang, ang sulat nyo na lang po ay, ito po, Cysticercus. Okay lang po. Kasi ang sabi kasi dito, yung larval stage niya ay tinatawag po na Cysticercus cellulosae. Kapag naman po infective larval stage, Cysticercus. So, medyo magulo na yung sources po natin. Kaya, ito na lang po yung gamitin natin, Cysticercus cellulase. And then, syempre, ingestion of eggs, yung ating Taenia saginata, unlike Taenia saginata rather, Taenia solium infections can also occur through the ingestion of eggs present in food, water, or contaminated or hence contaminated with human feces. And this fecal oral route makes the Taenia solium particularly dangerous because the eggs can develop into larvae within the body. So mas dangerous po ang Taenia solium po natin compared kay Taenia saginata, kasi nga yung eggs na yan pwede pong ma-develop mismo dun sa human body during its larval stage. Human body in its larvae. Ayan. Okay, there are two infective stages of our Taenia solium. So, we have here the Cysticercus, that's the larval stage that is acquired from undercooked pork, and then the egg stage acquired from fecal contamination. Ulitin ko lang po, meron po siyang two infective stages. Yung una po yung Cysticercus, ito po yung infective stage or the larval stage rather, na na-acquire po from contaminated pork, yung pag kumain ka pa ng pork. And then yung sunod naman is yung kanyang egg stage. Ito naman po yung nakukuha po sa mga feces, mga fecal contamination. Ayan. So, next, we have here its host of Taenia solium. Ang kanyang intermediate host ay pig. Pig serves as the intermediate host, while human serves as the intermediate and definitive host. Ulitin ko po, kapag po ang ating pigs, they are the intermediate host, and kapag humans naman, they serves as intermediate host and definitive host. Okay? Kanina, dun sa ating Taenia saginata, di ba? Ang kanyang intermediate host ay cow or yung pork, di ba? Cow, cattle, intermediate, cattle, di ba? Tapos kanyang definitive host ay human. So ngayon dito sa ating Taenia solium, ito po yung nagdi-distinguish sa kanila na kapag ang intermediate host pwede rin pong maging definitive host ni solium. So it can be the human, pwede maging intermediate host, pwede maging definitive host. Kasi nga, sabi natin kanina, yung eggs po na yan, pwede pong mag-stay, kahit larval stage pa lang, pwede pong mag-develop dun sa human body. Kaya pwede po siya maging intermediate host. Hindi lang po nade-develop dito sa mismong pig. Pwede rin po sa tao. I hope na-gets nyo po yun. Okay, for the next slide. So, eto na po yung ating two scenarios that occur depending on which infective stage entered the human host. So, sa scenario 1 po natin, the ingestion of larvae. So, how infections occurs? Ang nangyayari po ngayon dito, a person eat raw or undercooked pork containing Cysticercus cellulosae. And then, in the small intestine, the larva now is released in the cyst. So, mag-start po siya sa pag-eat ng undercooked pork containing Cysticercus cellulosae. And then after nga ma-eat, pupunta po yan sa small intestine para po yung larva na yan, magre-release po sila ng yung larvae, magre-release po sila yan ng cyst. Okay po? Magre-release ng cyst, and then itong scolex now attaches to the intestinal wall and develops into adult form. Yung scolex mag-attach into the intestinal wall, and then mag-develop po sila into adult form. So, anong mangyayari after po silang mag-attach po sa intestinal wall and mag-develop into tapeworm? Ang mangyayari po dyan, the worm now will mature into about 2 to 3 months. Ulitin ko po, magmamature po yung mga worm na yan 2 to 3 months. And then, adult worm now will produces proglottids and eggs. Magproproduce po sila ng proglottids and eggs that are passed now into the feces. So the infections now remains confined in the intestine. So ngayon, ang nangyari dyan, yung role of humans is that humans now harbor the adult form. So sila po yung nag-harbor, and then therefore humans acts as definitive host. So humans as definitive host. Okay? And then next po natin, in cases where infection is acquired through ingestion of undercooked pork or raw pork meat, the infective stage is the larval form, which transforms into adult form in the intestines of infected individuals. In this instance, human serves as the definitive host. And then next po tayo, yung ating second po na scenario. Okay, yung sa next po natin, on the other hand, the ingested worms now hatch in the small intestine. So mag-hatch po sila sa small intestine, and then they burrow through the wall of the intestines into the blood vessels and disseminate to the various organs. Ito na yung na-discuss natin na isa kanina. Yung parang sa Tinea solium, ganito po yon. So pupunta po sila sa intestines, and then pwede na rin po sila mag-spread sa blood cells, sa mga different organs and tissues. Magpe-penetrate po sila, magma-migrate po sila sa yung oncosphere na yan, 'di ba yung oncosphere na yan, meron po siyang hooklets. Meron siyang hooklets, ito na po yung mag-a-attach or magpe-penetrate sa intestines. So ngayon, magma-migrate sila doon, pwede sila mag-enter sa bloodstream, pwede sila mag-enter sa lymphatic system. And then through that circulation, mag-i-spread po sila to various organs and tissues throughout the body. Okay po? Okay po ba? So ngayon, yung sa development in tissues, yung larva ngayon na yung larva now, madedevelop siya into, yung larva po na yan, madedevelop po siya into cystecerae. Okay? Cystecerae. Or yung cysts. Okay? Within different tissues, including, ano pa yung mga tissues? Pwede sa skeletal muscles, pwede sa subcutaneous tissue, ano pa, sa eye tissues, sa heart tissue, and the brain and central nervous system. So ngayon, yung humans now serves as, in this instance, the humans serves as intermediate hosts. So the parasite does not develop into adult form in the intestine. Saan sila nagde-develop? Kapag nag-migrate na po sila. Okay, kapag ang larval stage, ang parasite rather, nade-develop lang po yung larval stage kapag sa tissues na or sa body tissues. And therefore, yung human now functions as intermediate host, a role normally played by pigs. So, dito po, wala pong nangyayaring formation of adult form. Kapag pong adult form, ang humans ay indefinitive host. Tatandaan nyo po, kapag wala pong adult form, ang meron lang ay larval stage o larval form, ang humans ay intermediate host. Indefinitive itong isa, intermediate naman itong isa. Gets nyo po yon? I-ano nyo po Okay? So next step po tayo. Ayan. Next po tayo. So, comparison of scolex and gravid segments of Tinea saginata and Tinea solium. So, for its characteristics, we have for scolex, yung sa head niya. Yung number of suckers, nasabi ko na kanina, 4. Dito naman sa Tinea solium, 4. Kapag rostrum, absent kay Tinea saginata, and then present naman po kay Tinea solium. And for their hooks, absent kay Tinea saginata, present or double crown po yung meron kay Tinea solium. And where gravid proglottids, its appearance and shape, rectangular kay Tinea saginata, and then some were square naman kay Tinea solium. And for number of uterine branches of each side of uterus, 15 to 30, dito naman ay 7 to 15. Next, for its epidemiology and pathogenesis, Tinea solium infection is more prevalent in underdeveloped communities with poor sanitation and where people eat raw or undercooked pork. Higher rates of illness have been seen in people in Latin America, saan pa? Eastern Europe, Sub-Saharan Africa, India, and Asia. For its epidemiology and pathogenesis, syempre yung adult worms na yan produces little damage in the intestines. Then, the encysted larvae or yung Cistercerci or circus may produce damage in the tissues where they disseminate. For instance, in the brain, excuse me. So for instance, in the brain, they may manifest as space-occupying lesions, yung mga parang mga sugat-sugat. Okay, mga lesions. And then, although the larva now may encysst in various tissues of the body, they evoke lethal inflammatory response. However, kapag itong mga Cistercerci will die, rather, they may release substances that may induce an allergic reaction in the host which may potentially be fatal due to development of anaphylactic shock. Ito po yung mahirap. Pag meron kang anaphylactic shock, pwede kang mamatay. Okay? I hope narinig nyo naman na siguro yon yung anaphylactic shock. Ayan. So ito po yung sa life cycle of the pork tapeworm Tinea solium. So pag-usapan po na natin yung normal life cycle muna. So ito po yung normal life cycle. Itong first na to. Yan, ito po yung normal life cycle. So pag-usapan po na natin yung ating step 1. So for step 1, that's adult worm in human form. So human form in humans. Adult worms in human. Ayan. So, yung adult na Tinea solium now lives in the small intestine. So, nasa small intestine po siya. Yes po? So, they lives in the small intestines of humans. And then, yung scolex or head attaches to the intestines or the intestinal wall. Yung scolex, di ba, yun naman talaga nag-a-attach kasi meron siyang hooks, ganun, di ba? And then, human serves as the definitive host. Humans as definitive host. Ayan. Second po natin, the egg production. For the egg production, the adult worm now produces gravid proglottids. Ayan, gravid proglottids filled with eggs. So, yung adult worm na yan, magproproduce po sila ng gravid proglottids filled with eggs, and then these eggs now and proglottids are passed into the feces. So, sa feces. Okay, feces. And then, step 3 po natin, that's the infection of pigs or yung swine. Infections of pigs or swine. Infections of pigs or yung swine. Swine po tawag doon. Kaya nga meron tayong African swine fever kasi nga ang inapektuhan noon ay mga baboy. So after yung sa infection of pigs, the pigs now will ingest food or water contaminated with human feces containing eggs. So these eggs now will hatch in the pig's intestine, and then it releases oncosphere. So magproproduce po sila, mag-hatch po yung eggs na yan, sa pig's intestine, tapos magre-release po sila ng oncosphere. Yan po yung embryo. And then, the formation of cyst. Na tayo, step 4. Step 4, the formation of cyst. Ito yung sister circus. Okay, sister circus or sister circe. Okay, so the larvae now na sister circe, or yung sister circe, huwag niyong kalimutan. Sister circe or sister circus. Yun po yung cis. So yung larvae na sister circe, yung larvae na yon, magde-develop po siya into sister circe in various tissues. So saang tissues po? Pwede sa brain, saan po? Pwede pa sa eyes, pwede sa muscles, pwede sa lungs. Okay po? Ulitin po natin. Yung larvae na meron kanina dito na na-develop kasi nag-produce po yung nag-release po ng oncospheres o yung mga embryo na yan, mga larvae po. Itong larvae na to ngayon, magpo-form po tayo ng cyst or yung tinatawag po natin na sister circus or sister circe. This sister circe now will develop in various tissues. Pwede sa brain, pwede sa eyes, pwede sa muscles, pwede sa lungs. And then for our step 5, yun na po yung humans now, itong step 5 na, ito na yung disease formation or disease develops. Okay, disease develops. So for this one, the humans now serves as the intermediate host just like our pigs. So parehas po sila. Humans are now served as the intermediate host just like the pigs. And now the condition is called the cysticercosis. Itong condition na to where the humans and pigs are both intermediate hosts, ang tawag po dyan ay cysticercosis. Okay po, ito po yung conditions where human serves as intermediate host na parang kay pigs. So, if yung cyst na yan, the cyst or the sister circus develop in the brain, magkokos po yan ng tinatawag po natin na sakit na neurocysticercosis. Cysticercosis. So, itong dito na ko na lang isulat neurocysticercosis. Ulitin ko lang po sa ating step 5, ito yung development of disease. So, once na yung cyst ay na-develop na sa brain, kasi nga nag-spread po sila, pwede pong magkaroon ng disease na tinatawag po natin na neurocysticercosis, which now may cause seizures, headaches, neurological problems, or increased intracranial pressure. Okay po? Gets po ba? Ayan. So yan yung sa circulation natin, yung circulation natin, 'di ba? Pwedeng pumunta yan. Pwedeng mapunta yan sa bloodstream natin tapos pupunta siya sa brain. Okay, pag-usapan naman po natin. I hope nakuha niyo po 'to. I-screenshot niyo na lang po delete ko muna 'to. Ito lahat para dito ulit ako magsulat. Okay? So, dito po tayo sa accidental naman po. Yung una kanina, that's the normal life cycle. Kapag naman po yung pangalawa, ito na, kasama na yan, ang tawag naman po dyan ay accidental human infections or cysticercosis. Yung una kanina, sulat ko lang, yung una kanina ay normal life cycle or yung Teniasis intestinal infection. Teniasis or intestinal infection. Ito po yung normal life cycle infection. Pero itong pangalawa naman, ang tawag naman natin dyan ay accidental human infection. Human infection or yung cysticercosis. Ayan. So for it's step 1, syempre the human ingest eggs. So yung humans na naka-ingest po siya ng eggs. So humans ingest eggs. So ang nangyari po diyan when humans ingest eggs, when eating nakakain siya ng cysticercosis or yung cysticercosis na meron po sa pork. Okay po? Nakakain po si human ng cysticercosis or yung pork cyst na meron sa pork, or a person ingests a Taenia solium eggs through contaminated food, water, or dirty hands. A person ingests the Taenia solium eggs through contaminated food, water, or dirty hands. This can also occur through autoinfection. Ulitin ko lang po, pwede rin po yan mangyari through autoinfection where yung person na yan are already infected and then infected na po siya ng adult worm and then accidentally swallows an egg from their own feces. Ulitin ko po, pwede po yan mangyari sa autoinfection where a person already infected with an adult worm and then they accidentally swallow an egg from their own feces. And then after that one, after humans ingest eggs, that's the egg hatches. Okay? The egg hatches. So the egg now, ayan yung autoinfection po natin. So the egg now releases an oncosphere in the intestine. So nag-release po siya ng oncosphere into the intestine. Number 3, the dissemination. Ayan. So, the oncosphere now penetrates the intestinal wall. So, ipe-penetrate niya po yung intestinal wall and then, pwede po siya mag-enter sa bloodstream through circulation and then, mag-i-spread po siya sa different parts of the body or organs of the body. Pwede po sa lungs, pwede po sa brain, pwede sa eyes. Kaya meron na pong presence ng cysticercosis sa brain, lungs, and eyes through the circulation po or sa bloodstream. After that one, nagkakaroon po ng migration sa pigs. Migration in pig. Migration in pigs. So the oncospheres now penetrate the intestinal wall and then they enter the bloodstream and circulate throughout the body. So this one now may eventually lodge in the muscles and they can develop now into cysticercosis or yung tinatawag po natin na larval cyst. Ganun po naulit na naman sa step 4 yung formation of cyst. And then step 5 natin, that's now the human infection. Ayan, kapag kinain ni tao, di ba? Yung cyst, syempre magkakaroon po yan ng disease. Gets po? Yun po yung accidental human infection. For the disease, the Taeniasis, the disease produced by adult worm, most cases are asymptomatic, but in presence of high worm burden, manifestation may be similar to beef tapeworm infection. And then, second, we have the cysticercosis, the result of larval infestation in various tissues of the body. The most common involvement is that of the skeletal muscles where patients may complain of muscle pain. And cysticercosis of the brain or yung neurocysticercosis is the most feared and most severe involvement. Nangyari siya kapag sa normal life cycle po ng of Taenia solium. And then hindi pala. Okay, it may be present with symptoms associated with increased intracranial pressure such as seizures, sabi ko na kanina, headache and vomiting, and ocular cysticercosis may lead to visual disturbances due to development of inflammation of the uvea or uveitis, and the retina that can cause retinitis. And then for its laboratory diagnosis, the microscopic examination of stool specimen from infected person is the diagnostic procedure of choice in patients with tinniasis. And then demonstration of ova and proglottids, ova or eggs ito, or proglottids may help establish the diagnosis. And the demonstration of typical morphology of the scolex can differentiate pork tapeworm from beef tapeworm. For cysticercosis, diagnostic procedure depends on demonstration of the cyst in tissue through biopsy or CT scan. And then for the treatment, ayan, maano na lang, drug of choice is the intestinal infection is the praziquantel. Parehas po sila. And then for parehas po sila ni Tinea saginata. And then for cysticercosis, praziquantel may also be effective but is usually not recommended for ocular and central nervous system environment. And then alternative drugs include albendazole, paromomycin, and quinacrine hydrochloride. Surgical removal of the larvae may be necessary, and anticonvulsants may be given in the cases of neurocysticercosis. Kasi nga hindi pwede yung ano na yun, praziquantel. Hindi siya advice. Okay? So, pwedeng anticonvulsants na mga gamot. And then for prevention and control, important preventive measures for pork tapeworms infections are the same as that for beef tapeworm and include proper waste disposal and sanitary measures, thorough cooking of pork meat, and the prompt treatment of infected persons to prevent the spread of the parasite. And then, tapos na tayo sa ating pangalawa. Ikakat ko na muna yung video para hindi masyadong matagal. So, part 2 na tayo mamaya. Okay, abangan nyo lang po. Okay, ayan ko naman to. Bye-bye.